for the last 13 months or so, you've been struggling with this patient to kind of coach her through how to maybe help her lose some weight. So we can continue seeing her month after month or every 4 months or 6 months. And I believe we'll have the same problem 5 months from now, 18 months from now, or even 2 years from now. If we haven't established something within 13 months or a year, something's wrong. Something's not working. Where's the roadblock? Is it motivation or is it clarity? If we can understand the psychology of a habit and break it down, we can win with our patients. Behavior and how we sometimes fail our patients. And maybe we need to think outside the box. Maybe we need to look at different avenues, different things that work for different people, and not maybe follow the tradition that we've always been taught. Not that it's wrong, but maybe there's a better way. This is an example of a 42-year-old lady who is established patient at one of our health centers. And she's hypertensive, poorly controlled diabetic. The BMI is 36. So that leads me to the next poll question. The same lady with a 32 BMI, 13 months, you failed to really get into her head. So where's the roadblock? Is it motivation or is it clarity? Is it that she doesn't understand what she needs to do, or is it that she's just not motivated or driven? It's almost 50-50. So 50% of us are saying that she's not motivated. The other 50 says we don't have a clear path on what she should be doing, or maybe she doesn't understand it. And I believe the reality is somewhere in between, but I'm convinced that clarity has a bigger role than motivation. Think about it. This group right now in this room, are we not motivated? Why are we here on Saturday? All of us are motivated. It's not that we're lazy. It's not that we're not driven. It's not that I don't feel like doing it today. It's not motivation. It's the clarity. We don't have it on our schedule. We don't have it documented. We don't have a clear path. We don't have it written down. And that's what makes us fail. If we can understand the psychology of a habit and break it down, we can win with our patients. We want to transform. We want radical change. We all do. We seek it every day on things that we personally in our lives want to achieve. Yet, we tell our patients, what do you think we're telling our patient when we're driving home, the 42-year-old at 13 months is getting nowhere? We're telling ourselves on our drive home, she is not motivated. Because that's an easy solution, easy answer that we can pick. But the reality is, are you ready for a change? I mean, there's 10 things that you want to get done, you're not getting done. It's not that you don't want to get it done. It's not you're not motivated, you just don't have a path. So my thing is, instead of blaming it on lack of motivation, I don't think we should. I think all of our patients are somewhat driven, and so are we. So we need to kind of rethink what we're telling our patients and what we're telling ourselves. I think half the time we pacify ourselves by saying that, hey, it's the patient's not driven. Whenever the patient's ready, patient will come to us and we'll talk about diet and we'll talk about exercise at that time. Let's look at the anatomy of a habit. It's 4 quadrants. Okay. And again, I always say this, I'm an ER doc. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm no rocket scientist, so I break everything down in a couple of steps. So if we took the habit anatomy, it's, you got to notice it, you got to want it, then you do it, whatever it may be, and you need to like it, so then you repeat. If you may go through the whole thing and you don't like it, you're going to stop. You're not going to go back to repeating it. So when you start looking at this, I'm pretty convinced, guys, that we're doing this subconsciously in our head, but we just don't break it down. So let me relate to something that maybe we can all understand. Let's say we want to go for wine or beer or cocktail today at 5 o'clock. And when you do, first you're going to say, I noticed you notice a bar across the street, and you say, I noticed a bar, so I'm going to go there. You first need to notice in order for you even to want it. So first you notice it, then you say, I want it. There's a need for a desire to have it, and then you're gonna say, I'm gonna drink it. Then you're gonna say, I love it. Not only like it, you're gonna go back and do it again. There was an interesting study done I want to review, and it's called the implementation intention. So what this talks about or sees is a group of patients in different cohorts, and they were saying that what does it take for these groups to implement a change, or the intention to change, or the intention to start the change, right? To start the habit. So it's very interesting, very simple. Let's say we take this entire conference room, virtual room, and we divide it into 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. All right. So the 100, let's just say it's 100 people in each room. So we got 100 patients in cohort 1. Over a 4-week period, they were asked to say, we want you to track how many times you worked out. Every week, just track 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, track it. That's it. The second cohort, in the middle, same, 100 patients, 4 weeks, track the number of workouts. In addition, they had a 90-minute presentation from a dietitian, physical trainer, and they, told them about good health and bad health, and good food and bad food, and what to do, not to do, and a lot of the things Dr. Hernandez just spoke about. How to eat, what to eat, no liquid calories, and so forth. So they gave all these, presentation to this cohort, the middle group. The third group, 100 patients, 4-week period, track the number of workouts. They got the same presentation. This time, this group, they said, we want to see the schedule. I want you to schedule it. When, where, how, and what you will do. Put it down on a calendar. As simple as putting it down on a calendar increased the likelihood of success by 2 to 3 times from the first cohort. So the first cohort, there was 1 in 10 chance of them going to the gym. The middle cohort was 2 in 10. The third cohort was 90%, 90, by simply saying, can you document on a schedule, on a calendar, show it to me, text it to me. I've done this with some of my patients, and I would actually tell them, when you just take a picture, snapshot, take a picture, text it to me. I may never even look at their text, but they're accountable to do it. And according to this research or study, 90% success rate just by documenting on a calendar. There is some value in talking with your patients and really breaking it down and clarifying what you want done. Because sometimes when we don't clearly tell them, and you would think they should know, but you know what? They don't, and that's okay, and that's why we're here. Then the next box, remember we said you gotta know what you want, identify that it's even there, then you say, I want this. There's a need for me to have it. So the environment really influences our choices. And I think we have underestimated the impact of our environment, and every year it gets worse. The local influences, the fast food restaurants, and all these things that are so easy to grab and put into, access, it's making it tougher. So my question is, this is Facebook guy, Mike Zuckerberg. He probably has a home that can accommodate everybody in this conference room with independent bedrooms tonight, right? So my question to you is, how many TV/plasma systems does he have across his home? So we said none. Nearly 50% said none. And the answer is correct. I mean, this guy, when he was like 18, 20, even in his apartment home, he never had a TV. Our environment shapes us, shapes what we do, okay? If we can eliminate options that are in front of us, then we will probably do the right thing. Look at how our living rooms and family rooms are shaped and designed in all of our homes today. You have everything laid out and a TV right in the middle. So it's innate to say, I'm going to watch TV. I'm getting bored. What if you put tennis shoes in front of your door in the morning, so when you walk out, the tennis shoes actually will hit your door, your feet? Maybe that would change the lifestyle. What if, I was against doing online grocery shopping, but I think I'm convinced online grocery shopping is probably one of the better way to shop, because you're not going to the grocery store and then just looking at stuff that is really interesting and going to the checkout counter and looking at all the stuff that you never want at the checkout counter last minute, like, please buy me, all these temptations are there. So when you go to the fast food restaurant, you walk in, you spend 5 minutes looking at the menu on the screen. Now you were gonna go there to buy a burger. Now you're gonna buy a burger and the shake and the little pie because it looks so good. But if you decided what you wanted before you walked in, you would have probably gotten just what you want. Today, I did not realize, but I learned something more than what was being taught by speakers. Dr. Kimball texts the group that says today's ice cream day, National Ice Cream Day. So I pulled this last minute slide, and here's the thing. There's two versions of this. You could go to Dairy Queen and think about it and then buy a sundae. Or you could go to a restaurant and the waiter or the waitress brings you a tray with 10 different desserts, ready-made, on the tray, ready to eat. All you have to do is reach. So this lady, when she comes to you and says, which sundae do you want? Pick one. It's easy than to say, let me think about it. I don't want it. Let me get this. Let me get that. Wait. And imagine this is like right in front of your eyes. So our environment is really, really, really taking a big role in the way we think, in the way we select and choose. So the next thing is, you got to be able to actually do it. And that's probably the most, obviously, challenging part of the whole puzzle, is to start, right? You got to say, when are you going to start this process of exercise or losing weight or a better diet plan or whatever it may be? We want to eliminate as many variables as possible for our patients. And I think all of us in this room have heard about Stephen Covey's popular book, 7 Habits. And it says, begin with the end in mind, right? And I believe in this too, is that let's think about the end, then work backwards so we can come up with a path to get to that place. And I think there's a lot of value to this, don't get me wrong. But sometimes what happens with our patients, when we say that you are going to lose 50 pounds, you're going to look like this, look at the muscles you're going to build, and look at the health that you're going to have, look at the medications, you're going to only be on 2 medicines versus 4. It may be too far of a dream. It may be almost like a fantasy. And if they can't see it, they can't touch it, even though that may be the end in mind, they're not going to start because it's just too difficult to grasp. So what I would suggest, I think we're focused on the wrong thing with our patients. I think we need to take bite-sized pieces with our patients and say, put the energy, your energy, in the exam room with the patient on starting the program. Starting is the key. And if you do start every day and figure out all our energy should be focused on starting. If you can repeatedly start the patient every day, then once you start, you'll get somewhere, wherever that somewhere may be, but you will get somewhere. If you don't start, nothing's going to happen. It'll just be a wasted dream. Once you stop doing something, it takes so much energy to resume. Once you have the momentum, it just keeps rolling. It truly does. If you look at the space shuttle, 80% of its fuel is consumed at takeoff, and the entire flight mission uses only 20% of the fuel. Because, starting is where the energy is lost, and we need to focus on the start. It'll eventually get to where we want to go. The last piece of this is you got to like it. You got to love it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So you see a donut, right? You eat it. What happens? Instant reward, instant gratification, and delay consequences. I'm going to gain weight next month, not today. So you have been asked to exercise. What do you do now? Oh my gosh, it's costing me time, energy, and the reward is 6 months later, 4 months later, 2 years later, I'll be off of 2 medicines and I'll be able to have more stamina or whatever it may be, right? So the immediate reward, there's no immediate reward. The immediate pain and then reward is delayed. Whereas with the donut, you have immediate reward. So immediate gratification, and then you don't care about the consequences, what's going to happen a month from now. What can we do? We need to sit down with these patients and break the system down and help them navigate through what they're doing, how they're doing, and no other way but spend time with them in the room. I mean, that's reality. It's got to be intent. We have to have the right intent. We have to be purposeful. Otherwise, it'll just be another conversation with really no actionable items.